Yes, everybody. Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Graham Potter has just finished his second press conference as West Ham manager ahead of the game against Fulham tomorrow night. So let's crack on and get into it. Lots he's covered. He shirked any transfer news as well, as you would imagine, to be honest, because very similar to David Moyes and people like that always. He's not our manager, so he's not our player, so we're not going to talk about him, that type of thing. But in terms of team news, he was pretty candid, really, in terms of what's happening, who's going where, and who's injured and who's not injured. Obviously, questions about Nicholas Füllkrug and the extent of his injury, of which we're probably all aware about, to be honest. But he says it's a fairly significant one. When a player pulls up like that, it's clear it's significant in a number of weeks. I prefer not to give a number of days, but we'll see how things develop. He says a number of weeks, and the journal went, does that mean a number of months? He goes, well, a number of weeks added together do make months. So, try to shirk giving a particular time frame, but we're led to believe, obviously, 3 months is what's going to be a likely minimum. Then he was asked about Somerville and in general team news in itself. In terms of Somerville, he goes, it's a minor one with him. He felt something after 35 minutes and finished the first half. Probably not 100%. It's touch and go for him, so let's see. To be fair, he did say it's more than negative, in all honesty. So I don't think you probably won't see Somerville play tomorrow. Emerson's had a good progress and trained. Jean-Claire remains with the physio, but Dino Mavropanos is okay. So likely is Emerson will come into the side. And Somerville won't feature, and Todibo and Füllkrug, basically. That's what we're led to be believed. Obviously, with Füllkrug out for a significant amount of time, Jared Bowen out, obviously Antonio out for a significant amount of time as well. He was asked about options up front, and they earmarked. They mentioned the fact that obviously Kudus had played up front in his career early on, and could that be a way to go? And he goes, yeah. Sometimes in these situations you have to be creative and look at your player attributes. We've got options up front in terms of Mohamed Kudus, Lucas Paqueta, and Danny Ings. So let's see. And he was asked about the significance of Danny Ings, obviously being our only fit first team forward or striker. And he goes, every player is important, so you can play a role. There's a lot of things to consider for Tuesday, and we need to make sure we're ready to perform against a very good side. Personally, I think Kudus up front makes most sense. And we'll talk about that in the starting 11 show tomorrow. Obviously, he's now taken 3 training sessions at West Ham, and he was asked about that. The response and the approach from the players has been really good. They're enthusiastic to try and to connect with each other. It's been a tough period, and we want to build together as a team. He was pressed 2 or 3 times about various names: Marcus Rashford, Evan Ferguson, I think also John Duran as well. And he simply brushed all those off, saying, until anyone is a West Ham player, we won't comment on them. Even at the end, he was asked about the possibility of recalling JWP from his loan spell, and he goes, well, actually, contractually, he's still a Nottingham Forest player, so I'm not going to comment on any of them. Obviously, tomorrow marks the first home game under the Potter era. We've got a couple of home games, obviously one on Saturday as well. But obviously, tomorrow is his first game in charge at the London Stadium. And he goes, Friday was really good. I had no doubt about the supporters. And for sure, I can't wait for the first home game tomorrow night. We need a connection between the supporters and the team. And so we have to build a team that can help do that. We hope performances and results are good so we can bring everyone along with us. Yes, please, Mr. Potter. Asked about Fulham. And Marco Silva, he's done a fantastic job from promotion and then developing the team and the club. They've had key players move on, the likes of Paulinho and stuff like that, and Mitrovic. And because they've got a strong team and ideas, they can deal with that. And then Moose asked a couple of questions, one particularly about tomorrow. Is it points over performance? And he goes, I think our supporters know where we are on our journey. The result is the most important thing ultimately. We want to play the right way, but points are helpful. If we can have both, that'd be great. And that's basically what he was saying. Says the coach in me wants points and performance. And in fact, performance leads to points. But in the short term, we need to get points on the board and we need to get people, the fans on board with what we're doing. So interesting way of answering that question. And then he was asked about Ollie Scholes, and obviously the Moose was mentioning that, for West Ham fans, seeing players come through the academy is what we want to see. Because maybe not necessarily this season, but obviously moving forward. And he says, well, I think it's central to this club. The academy here has done some fantastic work, and winning the FA Youth Cup recently suggests that. I think our supporters like seeing our young players helping in the first team, and I think our start point should be looking at what we have here. Looking forward to working with the staff, Mark Noble, he name checked Mark Noble, Mark Robson, and doing that. And that was it. That was it. I do like I do like his press conferences, because there's no necessary. Well, the last couple we haven't had smoke and mirrors. We know who's definitely out tomorrow. We know that Falkirk's out. We know Bowen's out. We know likely Summerville's out by what he was saying. We know Emerson's back in. We know Todibo's out, and we sort of know where we are. And the fact is, because it's the day before the game, although saying that the next one I believe is on Thursday for the Saturday, so back to sort of that 2 days ahead. But go back and listen. He talks a good game, doesn't he? And we saw in the first half of the Villa game that there was some substance to what he was saying. Fulham are no mugs, no mugs. You know, traditionally we've done well against them over time, but not recently. They do tend to have our number somewhat, particularly away from home. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. As I said, once again, if you are going to the game, make sure you check out the fan zone, the Hammers fan zone, the Orbit, and Thomas Replica will be there, hopefully. And he'll be signing autographs and taking pictures and doing crossed hammers and all that type of stuff. And he will be appearing on the West Ham Network in the shortly. When he returns back to Prague, I've been promised by him and his wife. Anyway, until that time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. We've got the Academy show coming up at 6 o'clock as well. Hammers Headlines is already up. This morning I did the Rusty Rumour Roundup as well. And roll on Fulham. Much love. Bye-bye.